Do you mind if we do it mask off? Once we sit down, I think,
For sure.
I think we're okay.
Easy, thanks. Oh wow, I've never done this. So
It's quite cool, isn't it?
So I can look at the camera, but I'm looking at you. This is some cool shit. You guys are pros.
So Daniel, what are you listening to in your headphones before a race?
On the grid, I love music, so I'll always be listening to music. It's also a good way to just like switch off and shut out the kind of noise that the hustle and bustle on the grid. Yeah, everyone always wants to kind of grab you, and it's just that's the time to just zone in on the race. Something that just gets me like feeling like loose and just kind of ready to go. Like normally like hip-hop's a bit of a go-to because obviously there's a beat and like lyrically it's kind of filthy sometimes, and that's like the state of mind I like to be in, just want to be a bad person. The last song I'll play, I'll try and like maybe put it on repeat so I hear it like 2 or 3 times so it is in my head. So then like it lasts, you know, like the formation lap, I'm still kind of singing it. So then like when we're there on the grid ready to go, I've still got it, and then I'm ready for the first lap of the race, which is like the most intense, and that like first lap can make or break your race. So I definitely make a point to be as on as I can for that first 60 seconds really. Once the chaos of the first lap and like the field settles a little bit, then I'll normally take like 2 deep breaths, and then you set, and then it's like, all right, now just rhythm, and just try to like, yeah, establish like a race rhythm for yourself, and then start to also think, okay, how the tire's feeling, do I want to like be proactive on some switch changes and protect this, and yeah, it's a lot actually. When I talk it through, like it's a lot. No wonder why I'm freaking knackered after a race. There is a lot to do, but it's kind of also like how much you wish to do. Like if you're a driver that's maybe like in a way overthinks a lot and is maybe a little bit OCD, maybe you're changing settings like every corner. It's like, oh, I need that now. And now the tire's changing, so I need to do this. So you can kind of use the will to that extent, or you can just adapt through your driving a bit more and not worry about changing so much.
Do you ever forget which button to press?
I would say my record is pretty good. Like my memory of the wheel is pretty good. I don't forget too many things, but yeah, there is some times where I have to ask like, oh, can you repeat that, or whereabouts is that? And I guess that's what you get for changing teams, you know, in the last few years, quite a few times, so serves me right. So with the radio communication, like I have come on at times and just said, all right, like radio silence. Normally it's like, okay, he's 0.6 behind you. And I'm like, I know, like I can see him. I'm like, please just let me just put the perfect laps together. No lucky charms, no superstitions. That's all weakness. It's all signs of fear. I've never been into that. I get quite punchy with that stuff because I do. It's simply just a weakness, and it's another excuse for something to go wrong, and it's a way to like lack accountability for yourself. Like, oh, I didn't have a good race because I put that shoe on first. Oh, that's why. Like, no, that's not why. So it's yeah, not into that.
Do you fully understand all the technical aspects of the car?
I understand, like technically with Formula One and the car, I understand probably the best part of nothing. Yeah, not ashamed to say it. I have no idea what I'm looking at. My job is to drive, and that's it. And so I then just put all my energy into that. So my friends give me a hard time because they know, like if we're on the highway and our car breaks down, like they've got a better chance of fixing the car than I do. So they're like, you drive the most sophisticated cars in the world, yet you know nothing. So kind of proud about that. It's good. I came here, so back in 2015, but it was to spec my road car that I bought. So I kind of went around the back way, and I could kind of like, I got a bit of a sneak peek, but I didn't walk the boulevard or anything. Because also like, you don't want to start rumors or whatever. So I tried to keep it as down low as I could. So no, the first time was end of January. I think it might have been like one of the last days of January this year. Yeah. like coming here to the team, that was one of the coolest things I could tell, like a story I could tell is I bought a McLaren. You know, it was like the first sports car I bought. I think, you know, especially when I have like moved teams a bit the last few years, like at least telling the story that I really do like the brand and I'm passionate about it. Like that was a nice story to tell. And I don't own a McLaren F1. They're a little expensive these days, but that'd be a nice one to have in the garage one day. Now knowing what I know, like I don't wish I drove these ones from like a safety point of view, because they're just, everything's like so exposed, and even like the driver's helmet's like out here, and just the safety was not great now knowing what we know. But from just like a rawness of these cars, and as you say, like the steering wheel is just the steering wheel, H pattern gearbox, clutch, like 3 pedals. These days we only got 2. Like that would be cool. That would be cool.
You got a lot of respect for the guys that used to drive.
Oh yeah. They're heroes, legends, like, yeah. And I mean, like this was Lauda's car, and that's another kind of, I don't know, like surreal experience for me is like, I met Nicky, like we chatted at the track, and even for me just to be like, I don't know, holding a conversation with someone like that was already, I don't know, something pretty cool for me. So it's always easy to look back and be like, oh, those guys were crazier, or they were cooler, or that was better. But I mean, I still look at the steering wheel that we have and I'm just like, how are we able to not only know everything, but make adjustments and then still drive the cars on the edge? Like, so it does still, blow my mind how we're able to do it. So I guess we're all kind of crazy.
Do you have a weird fan interaction story?
A few fan interactions that are somewhat weird. I think like the weirdest thing ever is, I think we were in Belgium like quite a few years ago, and we were at like an autograph session in the pit lane, and this lady just throws me her dog. Like, she put it in front of me. She didn't throw it, but she put it in front of me. And I didn't grow up like a massive animal person, so I'm not the kind of guy to like pick up a dog and be like, oh, that's cute. I'm like, oh, I was a bit taken back by it. And I was like, no, like I'm not, because I thought she just wanted me to hold it and like have a photo with her dog. And there was a bit of a language barrier, but she's like pointing to the dog's collar. And I was like, oh, she goes, so she wanted me to sign the dog collar. So I basically signed a dog, which was weird. What's up, lads? What's crazy is pretty much every night on a race weekend, like Friday night, like the cars get stripped. Sometimes, you know, engine's out, new engine in for Saturday or something. Like it's actually quite common to see the car so bare like this. It blows my mind. It blows my mind. I am in awe of them. Everyone who helps put this car together. All like the, call it interior, is custom, as far as like the seat is molded to us perfectly. Even the steering wheel, like if we want something changed, a button in a different position or like a different grip, we can change that. Pedals, yeah, anything with like driver comfort we've got. But then again, like the space inside the car is fixed, so it's only ever going to be so comfortable. Normally once we get back into the garage, you get like a heat soak. So like then, yeah, the engine kind of, you get all the heat from the engine kind of builds in the garage around you, and then from the brakes, you get all that. So like when you stop, and then obviously you get like no circulation, then yeah, it's warm. But fortunately I like the heat. So I'm not a winter person, so that helps me deal with the heat a bit better. You feel a lot of responsibility with what you're doing, and I mean like, pretty much everything we're sitting in now is to put 2 race cars on track, you know, one of which I drive. So yeah, it is pretty crazy. I feel like very privileged to be part of it and to let alone drive it at the end. But yeah, it's wild. Like all the detail that goes into finding half a tenth of lap time, like it's insane.